it's already rolling, so we can start talking.
All right. How is it over there right now?
It is. It's kind of weird because like they did like a rolling shutdown type thing in phases.
Like phases, right?
Yeah, and they like started in phase 1 and went to 2, 3. I think we got up to 4, and 4 was like everything was pretty much open, limited people. I think it was like we got up to like you could gather in groups of 50, I think is what it was. And then when we started seeing another spike in cases, they rolled it back to phase 3, and then they rolled it back to phase 2. But the funny thing is our phase 2 now is almost identical to what our phase 4 was. So they called it something different, but they didn't really change anything. I think
you guys have to wear masks.
Yeah, so we have it's
a mask mandate.
It's a mask mandate, but they're not like enforcing that. Most people are wearing masks. Like if you go to the store, I'd say 99% of people are wearing them. Mm-hmm. There's a few people that aren't. And, Idaho's a very, very Republican state.
What?
But even then, like, I hate how politics was brought into this whole thing. Because I know people that are super conservative, Republican, whatever, and they still wear a mask and they still want to do the right thing, whatever the right thing may be. So, like, the whole politics being brought into it, I don't like that. I don't like that with a lot of things, how you judge somebody by their politics, but...
I mean, that's 2020, man.
It's been insane.
That's the type of year it's been. 2020 has been that. Everything is political now.
And yeah, everything's divisive.
Yeah, it's a reality TV show. Damn year.
Like you can't do like everything you say is dissected to a point to find out like 100% what did you mean by that? Like even if you're just joking around.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna dive into it and like, why did you say that? Like
and we've talked about this a little bit on here. I think that's kind of like the loud minority of people on the internet that cause all the, everybody's offended by everything and all that. Yeah. I don't think most people are really like that. Like, I know you personally, you would consider yourself like a liberal guy, but you're not, you're not like overly politically correct about things. You still joke around. Like, I've always known you to joke and.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you have to joke around, especially in a time like how it is now. It's like, if you're always serious about what's going on, because obviously it is serious, but if you allow yourself to just always be, thinking about how shitty this year has been. Yeah. Like, well, like you're gonna be depressed.
Exactly. And it's, I don't know, like when people bring politics into everything, especially in this year, they have. Yeah. And like I was saying, I have friends that are liberal. I have friends that are conservative, and most people just want to do the right thing and live a good life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean, that's how it should be, but
yeah, it is.
This year seems to have changed that. Like you think of like, okay, people want to like just be good and do good as a person, but then this year has kind of like just been like, damn, I'm not sure if that's true now. There's so many people that are just like out to just fuck shit up.
Well,
like, no matter what,
you see a whole different side of things living where you live, I'm sure, because I mean, you have so many fucking people that live in that area, so you probably
you get every single side. That's the thing. Here, at least in Los Angeles, you get both sides. Majority, yes, it's more I guess liberal, you would say, but you do have your conservatives too, which is fine, but you get the extremes. Like you get the extremes everywhere.
Yeah, I think
you get the extremes everywhere, but here you get it even more so just because it's such a melting pot of people from every, corner of at least United States. So you always see people from everywhere, but not just Los Angeles.
I think the extremes on both sides are bad. Like, oh yeah, we've talked about this on here a lot. Me and Kevin, we're pretty moderate. Like when it comes to politics, there is some issues that I side with one way or the other, and same with Kevin. But
Well, people in the extremes,
people
in the extremes are toxic, and the reason is because they have mental health issues that are not being resolved. So they're attaching themselves to ideals to not deal with their own bullshit. So it's just essentially people, they're, something fucked up happened to them and they're taking it out on the world, right? So that's your extremes. Your extremes are people who need help.
Yeah. And, that's why I said, like, there's people that just want to fuck shit up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get, like, people that want to stand up for a cause that they really believe in.
Yeah.
But it's also, like, we're all human beings. And I don't know, we're not that different. And I pushed that on this podcast 1,000 times that we're all pretty similar. We can get along. And and I've brought up, like, you guys, my wife's side of the family, most you guys that live over there in, like, California, you're all pretty liberal people. And then I wouldn't say I'm conservative. I'm not even, there's a lot of things I don't believe in on the right, but I have friends that are super conservative too. And people on both sides.
The thing is that that's okay that you don't agree with someone.
Yeah,
the problem is,
and that's being lost.
Is that people see you not agreeing with them as the problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, they're like, no, fuck you. You're not agreeing with me. Then I don't care for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care what happens to you. I don't care if this affects you negatively. Like, whatever the topic might be, they don't care because you're not agreeing with them. You're seen as the enemy.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
That's the issue at the heart of everything is that we forget that we're on the same team.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
we're all on the same team, on the same boat. We're on the same damn thing. If America succeeds, we all succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Kevin.
It doesn't matter what side succeeds. As long as America succeeds, then we're good.
Yeah. And Kevin can speak more on this, but, like, I've talked to him a lot during all this where everything seems so divisive. When you were overseas fighting in a fucking war, you didn't care what somebody's political belief was that we were fighting next to.
No.
Or you didn't care where they were from.
Anytime there's a common goal at a hand, that stuff goes out the window.
Exactly. But that's where we got lost, that common goal.
Yeah.
We have a common goal. We want America to be as successful as possible. But it doesn't seem like that. Because one side is saying, like, the only way we can get to that success is if we follow our way.
Mm-hmm.
And if we follow the other way, then I'm not going to be on board with that, even if it succeeds.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we lost our way in this whole, I don't know when it started, but it's still going on.
It started with the brainwashing from news outlets, and the social media made it worse, because everything is looking for making revenue based off of,
clicks.
Well, essentially, yeah, but primary emotional reactions, not secondary reactions, primary reactions, right?
Triggered.
So, yeah, they're trying to trigger you, and then it makes you take a side. Think about how easy it is to go kill someone from another, group or society. It has different values than you if you demonize them first. Like, they are heathens. They hate us. They hate our way of life. They hate America. They want us all to die. You brainwash someone, and then now you pick a side. It's hard to pick a side if you're like, hey, we're all humans trying to survive here. And the media does that very well. Pick a fucking side,
Yeah, and I think that's like social. There's good. We've talked about this too, but there's good and bad with social media. I mean, social media is really good for connecting. It's good for promoting a business if you have one.
Yeah.
It's been great for us to promote this podcast and to get guests on this podcast. But I also think, like, people do it to themselves when it comes to social media. You pick what you follow. And that algorithm's going to keep feeding you the shit you want to see.
Exactly.
And it pushes you into this hole. And that's something like my social media, my personal social media, whoever's in control of an algorithm is probably like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Because I follow people from all sides and different views and stuff like that. So it's probably kind of hard to pin down how exactly I view the world.
Dude, I know. I follow, like, an astrology page, and I'm a physics major. And astrology's bullshit. But I still follow it because it's interesting. Like, you can, it's just, we're all human, bro.
But so, like, what are you seeing when it comes to, like, the COVID stuff down there? How, because I know you guys are, like, pretty much locked down again, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, it's just because, I think people just got tired of the whole, staying home. And it wasn't like a real lockdown. Like, it wasn't Like you could go to any place, like minus a bar. You could go to restaurants and buy food, and now you could have ate outside. So it wasn't like a real lockdown. So it was. That's why it's so bad now, where we're seeing the worst numbers the entire year. Especially at work, I can see it because at one point we were down to like our census for at least COVID was like, around 30, hovering around 30 the whole time. And now it's like probably like around 200 in the last like 2 weeks since Thanksgiving.
Well, that's because everybody went and got together with their families and.
Yeah. I mean, it was just people got tired of the whole COVID situation.
What's your view on, like, do you think there should be such hysteria over cases versus like hospitalizations and deaths and stuff like that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the way I see it is that you have to think about the bigger picture, right? So say like, okay, it's not like, usually the argument is like, oh, it's not that deadly, right? Whatever the death rate of if you catch COVID is like 1% or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to think of like, okay, how much does that cost, the healthcare system? Meaning like, what if you do get sick, right? And you have to go to the hospital for 2 weeks and you survive. Someone has to pay for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's a lot of people that are not insured, and usually the people that are affected the most by COVID now are people that obviously are not, the higher earning income people or the homeless. At least here in Los Angeles, there's a lot of homeless.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a lot where those are affected. So they're not going to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Then somebody's going to pay for it.
Yeah. Someone's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
So if 2 weeks of, ICU care, I don't know how much it is, but I'm sure it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't know, like, I've heard here in Idaho, or at least where we live in Idaho, we've had a big spike a few times, but we never really had a shutdown here. Like, there was in the beginning, there was kind of a shutdown, I guess you would say, where people didn't really know what the hell was going to happen.
Yeah.
But we've seen like spikes, and then it'll drop back down, and then spikes and drop back down. The death here was really low, and here recently it's been going up. I'll check it every now and then to see what's happening, and the death numbers have gone up a lot compared to what they were.
Yeah,
I know personally. I know a lot of people who've had it, and I mean, I'm sure you know a lot of people too that have had it. And so far, everybody I personally know, they've survived it, which is good. And the
I mean, I think it just all depends. Like, do you want to risk? If someone told you, okay, just risk, 1% chance of you dying.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take that? Do you really want to take that chance? Even though you were like, okay, I got a 99% chance of surviving this.
Yeah.
But that 1%, depending on how, if you have any, pre-existing conditions or you're high risk of complications.
Yeah.
Right? Because just like Marisol's friend, her brother got it, and 2 weeks later he was gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know people that have passed away from it.
Yeah, but you get me, like, his whole entire family got it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the one that passed away.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean any death is not good. It's.
But you get me, like, he had a family of four girls, and obviously a wife. And now, 2 weeks after getting her, 3 weeks, whatever it might have been, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that family doesn't have their dad.
Yeah, it's horrible. And I don't know, I think, like we were saying, like, being a good person, whatever, just being a human being, like, look out for your fellow people, whatever you got to do. And I think there's a difference between living in fear and being scared all the time and just using common sense and being a good person.
Just wear a mask.
Yeah. Well, see, like me, I've just as you have, I've been working through this whole thing. My work got busier than it was before this. And I've been out there in the world this whole time, the whole last 9 months or whatever it's been. And I've just tried to use common sense, wash my hands, don't get close to a bunch of people, throw a mask on, do whatever you got to do. I think it's crazy the people that act like this thing doesn't exist. It's, which I think there's less now than there was.
Yeah, there's less people, but there's always those people.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, I get people not wanting to be scared, and I think that's a reaction to, like, I think there's people who are scared, but they're trying to overcompensate.
Yep.
Like, to show, I'm not fucking scared of this thing. This is nothing. And in all reality, they're in their mind, they're crying and they're scared about it. And they're overcompensating.
Mm-hmm. Well, for sure.
But I don't know.
I just think, like you said, you got to be a good person and just think of the bigger picture, which is protecting everyone else that you might not know. You might come across them, but you don't know them.
Yeah.
You get me? Like, I come across people every day that I don't know at work. And me washing my hands and sanitizing and wearing a mask is for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
As much as it is for me, it's just for them too. In case, you know, for God forbid that I have it, you know?
And you haven't had it that you know of, right?
No. I'm gonna get the vaccine though.
Well, I will too. And I know that there's people, that's a whole nother conversation, people that are scared of the vaccine.
Oh yeah. I mean, even at work. I mean, I work obviously at a hospital, and even people at work that obviously work in the medical field and usually, you know, take vaccines are iffy about it.
Yeah, and I kind of get it. Like, it seemed like it went super fast. Things like that. I listened to this interview with this infectious disease doctor, and what he was saying about it was that they didn't cut any corners on how to make a vaccine. They took all the same steps on how to make a vaccine. They cut red tape. They cut out some politics that allowed them to go faster, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like that if you have Pfizer, which is, I don't know, obviously it's a multi-billion-dollar company, and you tell them, put all your resources into this. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like if you're it's like telling Apple, just be like, okay, just make the best iPhone you can make in a year or less than a year. Forget everything else. Forget your tablets. Forget everything. Just make the best. You think they're not going to come up with some shit that we have not seen?
Yeah.
They have the resources to do it. They just said, okay, let's, instead of going for vaccines, only 10% of our resources, let's give, 90% of our resources into this vaccine.
Yeah. Well,
and they did because one thing I was talking about, one of my doctors, was how by doing that, the FDA approval and like MDMA for post-traumatic stress has now been pushed off by a year. It'll probably be approved early 2021 now, or no, sorry, 22. But it was supposed to be, they were thinking it was going to be approved like this December, January timeframe. So they pushed it off by a year because they're dealing with these vaccines solely, I guess, right now.
Yeah.
They put all their efforts into it, which is good,
Yeah, right now, which is, unfortunately, I guess you have to kind of pick your battles, and this is the biggest battle that they see, and they have to allocate all the resources to this because it's changed the world. Like, it's literally changed the world. I mean, not for good, because obviously we have to kind of alter our lives. Our everyday life has been altered because of this virus.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's, I thought when this first happened, everybody was going to come together. Yeah. And because we were all like,
I mean, it did.
At first, and then other things that happened in the world throughout these last 9 months kind of fucked that up. But I was really, because I remember when this first was going down, like here in Idaho, I'd go to the grocery store and everybody had this look on their face like someone just took away their fucking birthday. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Everybody looked like they were like, everybody had the same look on their face, like, what the hell is going on? And I was hoping, like, I remember after 9/11, which we were, junior high school at that time? Mm-hmm. But I remember people came together after that, the whole country.
We had Tiger King.
Yeah, Tiger King did bring us together for a little while.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know, it's a weird thing, and I'm hoping there's a light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccine. And like I said, 99% of the people I see are wearing masks.
But I mean, like, unfortunately, even with the vaccine, it's like that's already become like something
to fight over.
I mean, already before vaccines were kind of, it was a touchy subject for some people. And now it's like, there's obviously more growing people are like, I don't want to get the vaccine because I don't know.
Well, it's because Bill Gates is putting a chip in you. Didn't you hear?
Yeah. As long as he's paying me.
That always makes me laugh when people say, I don't want him to put a chip in me. They're going to track everything I do. I'm like,
what are you doing?
I'm like, do you have this thing called a cell phone?
Yeah.
Because they're already tracking everything you do on your cell phone.
Listening to you. Everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Watch. I'm gonna check my Instagram, and it's gonna be nothing but astrology.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like nothing but astrology pages are gonna be popping up.
Yeah. It's I always find that funny when the whole conspiracy thing. But so what is your job title? Like, what do you do at the hospital?
I'm a registered diet technician.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much like the middleman between the registered dietitians, which that's what I'm working towards eventually becoming, and then between like just every other aspect of the food and nutrition at the hospital. So you have like supervisors of like the food service side, and then you have like the staff that actually makes the food for the patient and delivers like the tube feeding for patients and stuff like that. So we're pretty much the middleman of between the clinical side and the food service side.
Okay. Yeah, I knew you were involved with something.
I do see patients. I do see patients. So technically, we're clinical, clinical nutrition. That's what we work as.
Yeah, that's something like Kevin's pretty schooled on his diet and stuff, and that's something I am not schooled on whatsoever. The patients that I see, I would say, 90% of the people don't like really understand their diet and why they're in the hospital. Mm-hmm.
Like, why is me eating bad leading to my liver failure or kidney failure and that type of thing? They don't know. They don't see the correlations between, eating like crap, for 20 years is going to get you to the hospital eventually, Why
am I getting my foot cut off?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That type.
Well, like I remember my birth father, he didn't take care of himself ever. He was a heavy drinker, ate like shit. By the time he was 61 years old, he had both of his legs gone. And he still didn't change a thing. He still kept doing things, and then he was dead by 64.
No, yeah, that's how I would say 75% of the people that I see are like that.
Yeah. I think people are probably more aware nowadays than ever before.
Yeah.
With diet.
The younger people, the younger generation, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like
my generation and below, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The older generation is like, they're just stuck in their ways where, they just want their cheeseburger.
Yeah, well, Kevin has experienced that when you owned your gym. You dealt with people of all ages.
Yeah. I experience it now because, being a physics major, I am around a lot of people who are not athletic. I am a fucking, unicorn in that program. Like, who is this fucking weird looking, fit guy,
Why is this guy so fit?
Yeah. And so everyone, most of the people in that program survive off of energy drinks, fucking gummy bears. It's why do you have to hold the stereotype of being a fucking nerd? Because you were going, you're supposed to be the brightest people at the school right now, and you were not feeding your fucking brain at all. Too many processed carbohydrates and sugars. They're just eating like shit. It's cool. The best and brightest don't know how to fucking eat. That's awesome. Because
it's always like that. Because even obviously I deal with doctors at work and things that seem kind of obvious to a person that's okay, this guy, shouldn't be eating terrible, but to the doctors it's just give him whatever he wants. You get me? Instead of the patient getting pissed off and causing a ruckus, they would rather just give them whatever they wanted, even though that they know that they shouldn't be eating that way. You get me? Instead of giving them that, high sodium meal, give them something, low sodium, but they're going to get mad, but who cares? It's better for them. The doctors don't see it that way. They just see it well, I don't want to deal with the problem. That's how it is.
Yeah, I was kind of joking when I, saying I'm not schooled on it because I am more aware of it now than I ever was before. Like as a kid,
I think everyone is.
Well, as a kid, man, my parents had no idea what was good. I remember stuff. I think back on things that they thought were quote unquote healthy, and I look at that now and I'm like, whoa! That if I wouldn't want my kids eating a lot of the shit I ate. And and that was
it's just like think of it like all those processed foods that we ate that obviously like things were going in there that we didn't know what the hell they were putting in there. It just tasted good.
Well, and that was when I was a kid. 100% of my diet was shit. I mean, it was ramen noodles and Lucky Charms and Pop-Tarts and that type of stuff and soda all the time. And
soda's the fucking worst.
And I don't think my parents even realized that wasn't a good thing to do. It was like, keep the kids happy with the yummy food. Yeah,
no one did. Everyone thought back then, growing up, was that fat was the number one enemy, right? So everything was low fat. Everything was low fat dressing, low fat everything, right? Everything was low fat, and that's what you needed to eat. But then we finally caught on, like. Actually, it's sugar that fucking fucks everything up. Mm-hmm. You get me? Like, you eating, high carbohydrate diet that's all processed is going to lead you to be obese.
Oh, you froze. There you are. You're back.
High fat. Yeah, a high fat diet would do. So that's why no one knew what was going on. Like everyone, it's just like how, back in the day, you could smoke wherever you wanted to because, only the person smoking was the one affected.
You remember the like non-smoking and smoking sections in restaurants?
Yeah.
That is so, and like my parents smoked growing up. So did yours, right, Kevin?
Yeah. I'm still old enough to remember at the Dollar Theater, people smoking in there.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Well, I remember I think back on, that's another thing I think back on. I'm like, God, that's so fucked up. My parents would smoke in the car with me as a kid all the time. And I remember.
Look at how you came out, Jake.
Oh yeah, I'm perfect. I'm not addicted to nicotine whatsoever. But no, it's like I remember my mom like smoking a cigarette, and the smoke would be coming over to my side, and I'd be like, "Mom, come on, that's bothering me." And well, roll down your window then, and that was it. And it's like I think back, I'm like, that is so fucked up, but she didn't know that was fucked up. It was a different world.
Yeah.
So what you were saying is that you were a snowflake back then, huh?
Oh man, I was so offended. You don't even know. So that's actually something, you living like in LA with all these people and the whole, everybody's offended by everything. Like, what do you see there? Like in person, is it crazy like that there?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
like I said, like we see both extremes because I've seen. The far left protest and do everything. And then at the same time, I've seen the far right protest and do everything in the same area. Like the same exact spot where one side was protesting, the other side is now, they're protesting. It's because they're just, I don't know, like they just want to fuck shit up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just have to have something to do, I guess. I'm not sure if that, to put it in, I guess, in, a simple sense is like they feel the necessity that there's no way that something is not going on that they can't protest about. I mean, like at first it was, I give it to them, like, when the whole social injustice and George Floyd protests were going on.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that was a real situation. And the same thing when, the whole election was going on and they were protesting for each side, right? But now it's getting to the point where there's a protest all the time and I'm like, I don't even know what it is now.
Yeah.
Like, I try to avoid it. Like, I don't even know what the protest is. It can be, a pro Trump rally, or it can be a Black Lives Matter rally. It could be anything. Because they protest in the same dang spot. So I don't even know.
Well, it's like now they're there just to be there. It's giving them something to do.
Well, they're not fulfilled in other places. We're at a higher than ever in the U.S. period of people getting older and not having children, right? So they're probably working a meaningless 9 to 5, or probably because they're not educated, and they're not getting fulfilled from their work, and they're not doing anything to occupy themselves outside of that. Are they doing things to keep themselves busy? Probably fucking not. These are people who lack skills and who lack probably enough creativity to have great hobbies as well. And they don't have kids either. So they're like, oh, let's go fucking protest and act like a dipshit, you know? Mm-hmm. And there's also some people that are protesting that are very good people and who are there because of the right reasons. But then there's the people who just go there to fuck shit up. And like we said before, it's just too bad, you know?
Well, we had like I said, Idaho's a pretty conservative state, but after the George Floyd thing happened, there was a big vigil thing for George Floyd in downtown Boise, and thousands of people showed up, and it was peaceful. There was, from what I heard, there was a couple fights that broke out towards the end because you get counter protester dipshits going down there to start a problem.
Yeah,
and that's another thing I fucking hate is if somebody's protesting, let them protest. That's what America's supposed to. You're supposed to be allowed to do that. You shouldn't go down and counter their protest with yours. And I don't care if it's something you disagree with. Like, if someone wants to have a Trump rally, then the people who don't like that, stay the fuck away. Let them do their thing. And vice versa. If someone wants to have a Biden rally or a Black Lives Matter, the people on the other side should just stay the fuck away. And don't, because going there is going to cause problems. And that's all you're looking for, is what I think.
Yeah.
That's too rational.
yeah, which a lot of people have seemed
That's too rational for everyone.
A lot of people have lost common sense and rationality, especially this year, and it is crazy.
The media makes it easy to be in your primary emotions all the time. Well, and I'm fucking angry, or not even angry. That's a secondary emotion, right? So they feel like they've been done wrong by everybody. Like, I guess I could just say triggered, but. Like, why, man? Like, I don't be level-headed. I don't know. Just be it.
Like, what's your outlook on
that's too rational of a way of thinking for nowadays.
What's your outlook, Cesar, on like the news and stuff? Because I know the whole fake news thing was a Trump thing and all this, but if that guy got anything right, I kind of think that's part of it. Like, the news is so divisive.
I think it's biased. It's too biased
on either side. Yeah.
On both sides, like you're never gonna find a medium, non-biased, just report the news type of news outlet.
Yeah, not anymore.
Why? Because that doesn't sell.
No,
like, fortunately, it doesn't sell. Why do you think there's an extreme extreme right or extreme left? It's because that sells. Mm-hmm. Fox is the highest rated. News outlet. Why? Because it's extreme one way.
Yeah. Well, and
if it was in the middle, people would be like, "No, I don't care about this. This is boring."
Yeah. And like
that's all that they want the good stuff. They want the juicy stuff where someone is talking shit about the other side.
Yeah, it's become, like Kevin said, a reality show. The news has become that.
No, everything has become what. Like I said, everything is to trigger someone.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna say something to trigger someone. Like, it might not be they might be their base or the people that they watch the show, or it might be the people that hate their show.
Yeah.
They want someone to get triggered by what they're saying, and that's how the news is now.
Yeah, and from what I've heard it said this way, is those news anchors on either CNN or Fox or whatever, they're not journalists. They're paid personalities to go on there and put out what they're told to put out. And then the general public sees that and they take it as gospel on either side of it. And that is not healthy.
Well, dude, what I think would be healthy, and I'm not saying this to sound like fascist or like a fundamentalist or anything, but because I think it would truly be healthy, is just for a month. Just shut down all news and all social media and just let people be people again. Let everybody reset. Just reset for a month. And I feel like there was no negatives coming from that. Maybe for a small business, because they'd rely on maybe social media for their business. But other than that, I cannot think of a negative response to that. People will become more healthy, I don't know. I'd try it out. Fuck it.
It can't get any worse.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's
like, I can't get it. Like, right now has been like, even like when I was growing up, it was, you could see it wasn't this, I wouldn't say like it wasn't divisive, because each side had its own, like, far left or far right growing up, but it wasn't as bad as it is now.
No, it's
like now it's just like nothing can get done. Like, people hate each other. Like, even if they're your family, like, people hate each other because for your political, beliefs.
Yeah, which is insane to me.
Like, yeah, like that just is crazy to me. Like one of my best friends growing up, he's you know, I guess you would consider him conservative, and he's like far conservative, and he's, you know, police officer and all that. We get along just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get me? Like, we don't agree on most, you know, situations or political views, but we get along just fine.
Yeah, it's because you both probably in all reality want the same thing in life. You know, you want to be happy and have your family happy and safe. It's that's another thing, like with the police, that is probably a big difference between where we live in Idaho and where you live, is the outlook on police. And like you were just saying, you have a friend who's a good person who's a police officer. We have friends here that are good people that are police officers, and I'm sure there's shithead cops.
Oh yeah,
I know there is, but there's good ones out there too, and that's another thing that you see.
Most of them are good. Like, I'm not. There's, you know, I can't say a percentage, but I know most of them are good cops.
Yeah, I mean, you think about all the interactions with cops in this country every day. How many go bad? In the grand scheme of things, not that many.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's more good than bad. We actually just had a police shooting here 2 days ago.
Yeah.
A dude stabbed a cop in the face, and the other cop lit him up, and the cop survived. That got stabbed in the face. He was in the hospital, but I guess he survived. But the dude that got shot was not so lucky. But I guess you shouldn't. The old saying, "Bring a knife to a gunfight."
Yeah,
and I guess it was a traffic.
Now that's a good saying, right there.
Oh yeah, well I guess it was a traffic stop, and then the guy came at the cop, stabbed him in the face, and then they lit him up. Which, like, to me, that's justified. You tried to harm that man, and there are unjustified things that happen, I'm sure.
Right. And anyone could have said, you know, like, well, you should have just like beat him to the ground with a club or something too. Someone's always going to have that point of view.
Dude, what blows
my point of view is he's obviously a shitbag, and I think shitbags should not be breathing our air, taking up our fucking taxpayers' dollars in prison. So it's like, you know,
like what blows my mind is when someone says that, why didn't the cop shoot him in the leg? Like, Kevin, you used to fucking...
They're not trained to do that.
Well, no, and even a trained person, Kevin can speak on this. Kevin used to carry a gun for a living. How easy is it to shoot somebody in the fucking leg, especially if they're moving?
Well, I did that once, actually. But it was an accident. Like, he was running, dude. Moving? He was on the run. Got him in the calf. But no. Like, yeah, you're trained, the cops are trained to eliminate the threat as fast as possible. And eliminating the threat means get some shots close to the heart, center mass, you know, and that's what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I've heard that narrative of why don't they shoot them in the leg, but it's like, that's a very small target compared to the center of their body. And if you have to use your force, you're going to want to shoot where you're going to hit. I don't know, I'm not a cop and I've never carried a gun for a living, but that always makes me laugh when someone says, why don't they shoot him in the leg? Like, even me, who hasn't done that for a living, it's like, that's not easy to do. That's why. But, so yeah, I don't know. The world's crazy, but we've mentioned this a million times on here. I don't think it's as crazy as social media and the news and everything portrays it to be. I think most people are like the three of us who just want to be happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As hippy-dippy as that might sound.
It's not. Yeah, you know, everyone wants. Some people don't want that. Some people some people are addicted to living in a state of, I think, negativity.
They like chaos.
Oh yeah,
and they're chaos. But for the most part, I think we all just want to be happy, and as a reflection of our own ego, we want the people around us to be happy. Yeah. So we try to affect them in a positive way if we can. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a crazy time.
Good, but it's like I said before. Like it seems like there's people that only want you guys to be happy if it's their way.
Yeah.
I mean, like you can be happy, but it has to be my way. Because if it's the other way, then I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
You get me? Like, that's how it is right now, where it's just a stalemate on both sides of the aisle that they want, you know, either you can't be happy the other way. No way. Like, I don't care what you say. I'm not going to be happy if you're happy if, you know, living in California.
Yeah.
Or in Texas.
And that's a shitty way to look at things.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how it is. Look at how long has it been for Congress to kind of like get back together and finally pass something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
like it's been, what was the first time? It was like in March or February. I don't even know.
It was at the beginning of this shit. And I also think it's funny they think that American people are going to survive off of what it was $1,200 the first time, and this next time it's going to be what, $600 is what they said, or $800?
Yeah. Oh, they're doing another one?
Apparently they're going to do another one, but it's less.
When is it?
I think they just came
to. They're going to pass it, I think, today.
Yeah, they're coming to an agreement today, I think.
Good, because I need it before Christmas.
You got a week.
Dude.
No, but it's crazy. Like, there's people out there who lost their jobs, lost their homes. I've been fortunate enough. I have not done that. I've been working, but there's people who aren't, and they need the help. And you think that people are going to survive off of a $1,200 check and the other one maybe $600?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. And I also don't think people should depend on the fucking government. This shows right here, like, you need to depend on yourself.
Yeah.
You can't depend on the government to take care of you anymore. I don't know if you ever could.
No, you never. If you want the government to take care of you, then you don't realize what other people that come from other countries have grown up in, like in Russia and shit. Like, no, when the government takes care of you, you have no way to move up in life, and you're living by determinism, and it fucking sucks. And you want to come to America.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the VA. The VA, I made an appointment in June, and I just got my appointment yesterday.
Yeah.
Over a teleconference call, right? And it's like, oh yeah, everything you're talking about, we don't supply because we're government ran. Like, we can't do MDMA, we can't do microdosing of psychedelics, we can't do testosterone. But hey, we can change your SSRI if you want. Like, no, kiss my fucking ass, dude.
Here's more chemicals for you.
Yeah, like anything that is been shown to help with,
PTSD,
inflammation in your fucking brain and your body. And it's like, oh, dealing with that? No. Oh, pregnenolone, whatever the fuck it's called. Like, we're not going to supply that either. Like, we'll give you an SSRI. Your inflammation, just, stay off gluten, maybe.
Fuck it. Let's just, let's take some acid.
Yeah.
Caesar, you got a hookup?
What do you want? We can take a nice trip.
Yeah, dude.
Kevin's been doing a lot of
we'll find all the answers.
Yeah, Kevin's been doing a lot of research on psychedelics and the help for PTSD and stuff, and it's showing some promising results with not just soldiers but people in general who've had traumatic stress.
You guys are closer to it than I am. In Oregon, they passed
everything. Yeah.
They decriminalized everything.
Yeah, so they're testing with psychedelics.
Well, and I think the VA has been doing studies, right, with MDMA and...
Well, like I said, the guy I just talked to is my psychiatrist yesterday. He said that FDA approval should be in another year for it. And so they are working towards it, which is amazing, but even I'm on Clomid right now, clomiphene citrate. So yeah, we don't do that. It's like, but that's been shown to be like the most, I guess mellow way to try to get your testosterone improved, right? Before you go to like HCG and other shit like that. And it's like, yeah, we don't even touch that. Like we do 1 milligram oral gummies or something like that. Like,
we just need straight up steroids. Let's get on let's get on some stacks of I don't even know what they're all called, but me and you'll do that together, and I'll do acid with you.
HGH.
Yeah, some HGH.
Steroids.
Some TRT.
Yeah, just everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna have you looking like you're 16 years old.
Well, dude, maybe you can answer this because so my testosterone was like a 360 when I was 28. And so my doctor at the time said it was probably, blast injuries, PTSD, related. And so it was like before I actually started, I was like, I'm going to try to get my testosterone up naturally. Like, so I went to things that I researched and things we did in the Army, right? So I went to intermittent fasting with fasted cardio and got rid of gluten essentially. And before I started the Clomid, I was up at a 520. And so that was a pretty good jump. And I'm like, shit, I don't know which one it was or if it was a combination of both. Because if it was gluten-free, maybe inflammation, or if it was the fasted cardio. And I was fasting 14 hours a day. It was the 14-hour fast with fasted cardio. So I'm not, have you seen any one of those things affect people's testosterone or their diet? Or
not that I've heard. I haven't read any journal articles or anything like that has proven or has shown that testosterone being affected that much. That seems like a almost double.
Yeah.
in your testosterone from, just gluten free or intermittent fasting. I haven't seen anything like that.
Okay.
That seems like it's a good, maybe it might be a combination of both.
Yeah, maybe it's because of beating off more too.
Like we're pumping those numbers up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually
6, 7 a day. Come on.
No, that's something I want to do. Is I want to go get my testosterone tested. I never have, and I'm sure I have low testosterone, being overweight and things of that nature. But I'd like to get on some stuff.
Yeah,
some supplements to.
Hey, I know a guy that can get it to you. Just let me know. Just have your selections made before you talk to me.
Yeah. Oh, man. Actually, I have another question for you living there, because all we hear is like on the news and stuff. What are your views on your governor there? Because I know some people were really not happy with him.
Oh, yeah, they're not. I mean, like, I think they got tired of like I said, the whole lockdown the first time. So when they saw him, I guess he was, eating out and
doing all the things he told people not to do.
He was rich before, so he has the ability to eat at 5-star restaurants.
Yeah. And didn't he also money. Not close down his own winery?
Yeah, like he didn't close down his winery right away and did all that stuff. Is like he messed up. Like hypocrisy. What's gonna happen?
It's being a hypocrite, which
you're asking for someone to be like, yo, I'm calling out your bullshit.
Yeah. Well, and then I think that is what also things like that are what fuel the conspiracy theories of stuff. Like this is all the government trying to control us. But look at the fucking government is telling us to wear a mask, don't eat with a group of people, close down your business. And then, but guess what? That governor is not going to wear a mask. He's going to sit and eat in a public space with a bunch of people.
Oh, and he's going to tell you he's going to shut off your fucking power and water.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so sad.
I don't know. All I hear is I don't live in California, so I don't really know, but I've heard that people are pretty fed up with him.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I think it's like he messed up, like I said, because of that. And it's just the whole situation as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, everything is just kind of snowballing to what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is just tired of being locked up, or not really locked up, but just being told, don't go out, stay indoors, don't gather, don't have parties, that type of thing. And it's just, he's gonna get the end of the stick of, people are pissed off.
Wasn't there like a big recall thing going on for him right now?
Yeah, they're trying to recall him, but
I heard something.
They had I think half the vote or half the signatures.
Yeah, well, they tried to do the same thing here with our governor, because no matter what, nobody's fucking happy. Like we were talking about, everybody's looking about something to be mad about.
Yeah, because if you're looking for answers from the government, when you really analyze people in the government, you're like, damn, we really are just dumb fucking primates. Like we are just stupid. Like the only thing that's going to I think what's going to help the government the most is aliens. Like we start we stopped paying attention to them. We're like, fucking aliens, dude. Like they're here, and they're like,
no, even that when they during this whole COVID shit, they announced it. There was those UFOs or something, and nobody cared. All the crazy shit that's happening in this world, dude, it's too crazy.
The head of the Israeli space program just came out and said, yeah, there's aliens, and Trump was going to say something, but they're not ready. And no one's like, oh, cool, whatever, fuck you. Like
the world's crazy enough.
It's a big deal, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
Well, wait, why were they going to recall your governor?
So, like I said, being a red state, that side, that fringe right wing, were not happy with the way he was doing things. They didn't like that he shut things down at all. And that's the fringe though, because then there's people, like I said, I have a lot of friends that are super conservative people, but they're not on that fringe, and they're looking at it with logic, and they're not pissed off.
Well, I would say a lot of people here actually just essentially, because I've heard it a lot, just want us to emulate what Texas is doing.
Yeah, and I know Texas, they've done some small shutdown stuff, but they didn't tell people that they couldn't live, and run their business. They gave them options on how to run their business, and I think Idaho's kind of followed that, but I think it's the fringe on either side. And then we have, here in Boise, we have a Democrat as a mayor. Mm-hmm. So then you have even people on the left that are pissed off at her.
Right.
And
shutting things down.
No, they were. I don't even remember what it was. I think it had to do with.
I think that, see exactly how you're saying it, how you're describing it is like people are just want to be pissed off.
They're looking for something to be mad about, and
you're describing exactly what the problem is.
Yeah. Well, and like we had the same thing you were talking about. There'd be protests. You'd have like Black Lives Matter stuff downtown Boise, and on the other side you'd have the fringe right wing people that are counter protesting them, and then there'd be a fist fight, and it's just insane. And like, I don't know anybody I call a friend that's going to go down there and get in a fist fight in a protest.
Because people don't want to be hateful. You just don't have any friends.
No.
I'm thinking about the Anne Frank Memorial just got not vandalized, but someone put a swastika on it.
Did you guys hear about that over there?
What?
We have an Anne Frank Memorial here in Boise, and somebody fucking went and put swastikas up on it with a sign saying that we are everywhere.
Yeah.
Which that could have been just some lone dumbass trying to stir up some shit.
Could have just been like a high school kid.
Yeah, it could have been.
But I like the response. People put a note back on it that says, "We love everybody."
Yeah, there's love everywhere.
Love everywhere.
And it's, I don't know, everything's divisive, and I don't feed into all that bullshit, and I don't think like most people do.
No.
But there are people who do.
Go find some meaning in your life so that you don't have to run around doing stupid shit like that.
Yeah. It's.
I wish we could tell those people, but then I feel like they hide.
Yeah.
They do. They hide on the internet.
They're just trolls
behind a keyboard. Typically,
they just hide behind protests because they're not the main. I guess the main people at the protest. They just hide within that protest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, like here in the Black Lives Matter protest, you had the people that were looting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was, I don't know, thousands and thousands of people, but those hundreds of people that were the looters got the most news, most views, most likes, most clicks.
Those are people looking for an opportunity to fuck shit up, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, there was a Black Lives Matter protest going on here in Boise, and of course counter protesters show up, and that's another thing that pisses me off when people show up with their guns.
Yeah.
They have their rifles out and shit. And some young, 16-year-old kid had his dad's gun down there, and he fucking pulled the trigger on accident and shot a round into the ground. And so that obviously stirred up some shit.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that makes, everybody who owns a firearm look like an idiot. Because, Kevin here is a firearm owner, very respectful with firearms. And I've talked to him about, what's your view on these guys that show up with their fucking ARs on their back at these protests, and you've told me what you think about that.
Well, for one, I would never go to a protest. I don't go in the big public gatherings like that. The only one I've gone to is the Tool concert. Totally worth it, though.
That was a protest?
Yeah, that was a protest. Big public gatherings, you know. And no one ever knows that I'm carrying a gun.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to make it obvious. I want it to not be obvious in case something happens, and so it's not the first thing they reach for.
Well, I would think, if you're carrying your gun out in the open, the reason you have a gun is for protection. Aren't you losing all tactical advantage when everybody sees that you have a fucking gun?
I will walk up behind you and fucking take it.
Exactly. That's like the fringe, the people, the hillbillies that probably don't even know how to use that thing correctly, and then they make everybody look bad. And it's the same on the left. You get the fringe of the left that makes just a normal liberal person look like a fucking moron.
Right, like the Antifa who call other people fascists, but they're being fascist. You're making people like you look stupid now.
There's fringes on both sides.
Exactly.
I just think it's a small amount of people.
Yes.
But the thing is that, you guys were talking about the news, that's all you see, though.
Mm-hmm. 100% it is.
That's all you see.
Yeah, and
if you put on the TV and you put it on to a news organization, that's all you're going to see.
Yeah.
Because that's what sells.
Yeah, and I've even seen it with our local news, which used to be pretty non-biased.
Mm-hmm.
But during this past 9 months, our local news channels have become, it seems, more biased. And I hate to see that.
Yeah, but it's getting them more views.
It is. More people are tuning in, and more people are talking about them, just like we are right now.
I mean, at the same time, I understand that they're a business.
Yeah.
I understand that they have to do they have, shareholders, and they have to make sure that their stock doesn't tank.
Mm-hmm.
they have to make sure that they're making money, and the only way they make money is that they have more views.
Yeah, and the way they get those views is by scaring you.
The thing is that people don't see through that. Don't see through the bullshit.
Yeah,
it's just like those people on Instagram that have millions and millions of followers, and then it's like you do know that that's all bullshit. Like,
they're posting.
They don't have that kind of money. They don't live that lifestyle.
They're renting those cars and those houses.
Yeah, like, you get me? Like that's not real. Like that is fake.
Yeah,
like, but people don't see through that. People just believe it for what it is at face value.
Yeah, and then they become envious.
And then they'll just keep on preaching it, even though that at face value it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
You get me? Like far left or far right. Like there's no way that each side can be 100% right. Yeah. But they believe deep down that they are 100% right. So on every topic that you talk about, they're going to believe that they're 100% right.
So what you're saying is you voted for Trump, yeah?
100%.
No, that's another funny thing. Like, people who vote for whoever they vote for, I don't dislike them because they voted for the guy I don't like.
Fuck no.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's insane to me. And like, oh, you have a favorite politician. Okay, that makes you a horrible person. That's just not reality. That's insane.
Everyone has their own view. Like, I have friends that are up here from California, and I'm not saying that the ones who like ran away because they wanted to be hunters and stuff like that. I mean, they're legitimately like, you could still tell they're Californians. They steal that way. And like one of them, they voted for Trump, but they're also small business owners. And so they were looking at it from that point of view, where they would have usually voted left. And that's the only reason they really did. Like, cool. Like, awesome, man. Good for you. I didn't give a shit. Like,
are you seeing a lot of people leave down there?
I wish.
Because that's like one thing I'm seeing it here. We have so many people that have moved here from California, and more in this past 9 months than ever.
There's let's just say there's not enough houses.
Yeah.
Here in Los Angeles or in Southern California for the amount of people that live here.
That's why you have
so it's like
a lot of people on the streets.
There's a reason why it costs so much to live here.
Yeah.
If there were so many people living, to be honest, I wished everyone that said I want to leave California left California.
Yeah.
Because then it would be better for us, and it would be better for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be better for them because they'll be happier. It'll be better for the people that stay because the prices will go down a little bit. And there would be enough houses to go around for the people that want to live here.
No, and someone like you who's born and raised there.
Yeah, to me, I understand that if you don't like where you're at, then do something about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're bitching about California, then okay, I understand your gripes. Okay, then get the fuck out. I mean, like, I'm not meaning it in a bad way, but I'm just saying it in a way of, like, okay, you're complaining about it. Okay, then go somewhere where you'll be happier.
Yeah. And
that's the whole point. Like you guys said, just be happy. Yeah. Like, if California doesn't make you happy, then okay, then bye.
Yeah. I mean, I know just from visiting you guys down there, I love California. It's a beautiful place, good food, good fun things to do, but too many fucking people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. That's the problem. And like I said, I just wish everyone that bitched about, living here and left, then everyone would be in a happier place. Yeah.
We've seen, I mean, that's been a thing here for a long time. We see a big influx of people coming in from out of state. But over this past 9 months, I've seen way more people coming from, especially California.
There is what I'm saying is, like, do they still have a house over here?
I doubt it. I think what happens is most people sell their house down there for $1 bajillion, and then they move here and they can buy like a mansion and still have money left over
for a Land Rover.
Yeah, it's like in our neighborhood specifically, it's a rarity to have someone that lives in here that's from Idaho, because we got kind of the same thing. People that are from here, they can't afford a fucking house, because the prices are going up. So you get people that come from a place where they could sell their home for a lot of money, and they move here and they can buy one cash pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those people, because there's a lot of people that are born and raised here who say, oh, fuck these Californians moving in. I'm not that way. If someone wants to move here because it'll make them more happy, then fucking move here. as long as if you're running from something,
as long as you pay cash, you're good.
Yeah, but like if someone's running from like politics or something like that, don't take the politics with you. I think is not a healthy thing to do, because why'd you leave?
Yeah,
if you're going to try and change where you're moving to be that way. But I don't see anything wrong with people wanting to be happy and be safe and live wherever the fuck they want to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, is just trying to get people to be happy. But unfortunately, people stay in a situation where they're not happy and they're okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get me? Like, that's why people are so pissed off and, want to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not pissed off. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could wrap this up. One of these days, I'd like to actually see you in person and hug you and give you a smooch.
Hey, don't be a tease.
No, hopefully one of these days you guys can get back up here. And you haven't even seen our house.
No, I haven't seen the new one.
Yeah. I know.
Maricel is the only one that has seen it.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to see it, but
one of these days
once I get the vaccine at work, I get to get it before everyone else.
Yeah, they've already started that here.
So
a lot of the medical personnel.
I get it before the year's over.
Yeah, you guys need to get your ass up here and so we can see ya.
So we can fuck shit up.
Yeah, so we can fuck some shit up.
Get drunk.
But all right, man. Well, thank you for doing this.
Thank you, guys.
Uncle Cesar.
There you go. Finally, you said it.
That is funny that.
But you have to say it the right way, man. Remember, you're in a Mexican family.
Yeah, I know. What is it, Tio?
Yeah. There you go.
See, I know my shit. It's funny. We were just talking. I was talking about that with Joanna yesterday. She's like, "You don't speak Spanish yet?" And I'm like, "I understand a little bit of it, but they're most of it like
I understand when they call me pendejo."
Yeah. I know what gordo means.
Yeah, gordo and pendejo. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know what it means.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Well,
all right, guys,
love you guys and
keep up the good work with this. All right.
Yes, sir. We're trying, and so I think I'll text you some details and stuff, but we appreciate you coming on.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
All right,
dude. You, man.
See ya.